Imagine yourself sliding around the streets of Monaco in an open-wheeled car like this 1927 Bugatti. Can't imagine it? Well, if you're a subscriber, you might be able to. Push that button now, hit the bell icon to be notified when we post great new content, and who knows, you might be a pilote. Hello and welcome to the Audrain Automobile Museum here in Newport, Rhode Island, and our exhibition, The Magic of Monaco, which runs from December 14th, 2024 through March 9th, 2025. This is our highlights video to take you a little bit deeper into the cars that make up this exhibition and to tell you a little bit about why they're here. To help tell that story, I'm joined by my friend Nick Waller. Nick, Monaco and Bugatti, sort of hand in hand.
They hand in hand, hand in glove, they go together. Bugatti made their name on circuits much like Monaco, and Monaco was the prize throughout the season. If you won at Monaco, you were world famous. And by golly, Ettore Bugatti really used his wins on the racetrack to sell beautiful, beautiful cars.
And Ettore Bugatti's customers were the people that frequented Monaco.
They lived there, they drove there, they owned cars there. They needed something to do, which is really where I think Monaco sprang from. Monaco put on all of these different events, not just the Grand Prix every year, but boat shows, regattas, speedboat trials, the rally, dog shows, believe it or not. But Monaco is very much almost an enclosed town. The natives needed something to do. And along comes all of these wonderful events.
Monaco has always known how to do tourism.
Yes.
How to get people to come, and once people come, they discover this magical place. And of course, the Monaco of the 1920s is a very different place than the Monaco of today, which is full of high-rises. But the aspect of sort of the smell of money in the streets has not changed from that time till now.
It was there from the beginning. The casino, I think, invented the casino all around the world. That's where it started.
And when I think of the Monaco Grand Prix in particular, which of course began in 1929, I see in my mind's eye a Bugatti Type 35 or 37 on those streets with the wonderful balustrades on the side of the sidewalk, those high, sharp curbs, and people like Chiron and Dreyfus just sort of drifting around these corners. But what's really interesting, of course, the fact that most of us, myself included, associate Monaco most with the Grand Prix race. But actually, before the Grand Prix race, back in 1921, they held a Concours d'Elegance.
Absolutely.
Which again is also very, very obvious in Monaco because it's a place where cars and fashion go together hand in hand.
Yeah.
And for this exhibition, we have representing not only the Grand Prix with this wonderful 1927 Bugatti Type 37A, but we also have this spectacular 1936 Bugatti Type 57 Ventoux Coupe.
Well, I think this Ventoux summarizes everything that Bugatti was doing in those heydays. They were building beautiful cars that drove wonderfully. The engines were perfection. And the style, the coach building, everything was wonderful. And I had the pleasure of showing this car in Las Vegas last year at the Las Vegas Concours at the Wynn, and driving it. I drove it, talking of casino, driving it in Casino City was a real treat, and it drew so much attention, and people loved it.
Well, one of the things I want to get your opinion on it, my opinion of this car and these cars in general, is the fact that it is no wonder that they are such legends, because it's a car that drives a decade ahead of its time. Yeah. Would you agree?
Oh, without a doubt. They were cutting edge. They were the supercar. Every year they brought out another model. Every other year they brought out the better one than that. And it developed. And Bugatti was, from the tiny town of Molsheim in France, they were building cars that sold all around the world to the beautiful people of the world.
And people talk about how difficult Enzo Ferrari was to some of his customers. apparently he was nothing compared to Ettore Bugatti.
Yeah.
If you had a problem with your Bugatti, the problem was clearly with you, monsieur, and not with the car.
Absolutely. But you know, they developed this fabulous brand which still exists today, and it still has that that legendary feel. If you're driving a Bugatti of whatever era, you're driving something very, very special.
And there's also the element of style. I mean, Jean Bugatti, Ettore's son, was an amazing artist who actually designed this car, but also even the racing cars, the details. Ettore Bugatti, as an engineer coming from a family of artists, look at the cast wheels on the 37A. I mean, they're sculpture you would hang on the wall.
But they came from a sculptural family. The rest of the Bugatti family were artists. They built furniture, they had paintings, they had sculpture. And very often you'll see a Bugatti with
with the elephant.
With the elephant, which is sort of raised up with its trunk. Rembrandt Bugatti. Everything was artistic, and there wasn't a centimetre out of place.
And they have, I think, to me, almost unique among cars of this age, both that incredible beauty of design and engineering and a very visible functionality. The way that the body is wired to the frame for support, and also to add a little bit of flexibility.
A flex. You needed that flex, otherwise the thing would fall apart.
It's absolutely astonishing. And the fact that all of the suspension parts are polished. I mean, you know, it's one of those things that every detail is just so incredibly well thought out on a Bugatti. And this 37A, which is graciously loaned to us by the Phaeton collection, is also a marvelous thing because you think about the Type 35, the great 8-cylinder race car, and they said, well, we need something else as well for perhaps the driver that's less ambitious than the 8-cylinder driver, but also for those circuits where you really need lightweight and nimbleness more than pure power, like Monaco, for instance. And so they made this 4-cylinder version of their race car. And again, it comes from a time when these were dual-purpose cars. You drove them in Grand Prix races, you drove them in circuit races and endurance races, and the idea that you could, the well-heeled gentleman driver, leave his villa, drive to the location of a race, drive the race, and then drive home.
Well, that's exactly it. All that you need to do, these would very often have mud guards, fenders, whatever you want to call them. You just unbolted those, put them by the side, off you go racing. Absolutely fabulous.
And the people that own these cars today, probably, I don't know if I could say second only to, but certainly equal to Bentley, vintage Bentley owners, are people who like to use their cars. They think nothing of taking a 100-mile or 200-mile trip in their car, driving across Europe. The Bugatti Club does these amazing tours where people actually take their cars and use them in the way that the factory had intended, and frankly, probably use them a little more than they were used in the 1940s and 50s.
Almost certainly, but that's what is that's the passion of ownership. This car in particular has a fabulous history. This car was raced at Brooklands in 1928. It held records on not just the oval, the outer circuit, but on the mountain circuit as well, which was nimble and had gradients, and you went up and you went down and you were twisty and you turny. Just perfect for this car, and of course made it so successful in Monaco.
Exactly, and this particular example has also been on the Colorado Grand Rally. So driving through the Rocky Mountains, you know, it's absolutely astonishing. And the basic inherent quality of the cars is also so obvious. Turning to our Type 57, this is a car which has never been restored. It's been painted 3 times, but the body has never been taken apart, and you can tell when you're behind the wheel. It has a solidity. It has
really does.
A security about it that a car that's been taken apart and put back together will never have.
Well, there are 3 elements to cars. There's the look, obviously. That's the first thing that hits you. Then you drive it. You get in, and there's the sensation of driving the car. But then you get all the other sensations. You get the smell of an interior. And an old pre-war interior has a certain scent about it, which is just pure. It just blows your mind, and I could sit in it all day.
I think we should market that fragrance.
I think that's not a bad idea. Audrain.
Audrain, exactly. One of the other things I love about this particular car is with the imperfect arithmetic that applies to coach-built cars. This is a 2-window Ventoux as opposed to a 4-window. So the C-pillar does not have a window in it. So it's this very thick pillar, and you would think, that's got to make the car look heavy. To me, it actually makes the car sleeker and more mysterious.
I would agree with you. I would agree with you. There are a few blind spots in it, let me tell you. Reversing it was a challenge. But it is just a beautiful shape. And I would have died to be a coach builder of the 1930s, to turn out these works of art, sculptures, rolling sculptures. What a dream. What a wonderful way to spend your career.
Absolutely. And this example, as well as representing the idea of concours d'elegance in Monaco, actually competed in a concours d'elegance in Monaco in the 1980s.
Yes. Yeah.
So it really has certainly earned its place here in this exhibition.
The world turns, and we've got some fabulous, fabulous cars in this exhibit.
Absolutely. And this is, for me, one of the absolute jewels of the Audrain collection, and it's always amazing for me when I'm in its presence.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Nick. And thank you very much for watching this video. Our exhibition, The Magic of Monaco, will be coming back to you with many more exhibition highlights videos, so keep yourself tuned right here to the Audrain Museum Network and find out and see more. Thanks.